You're such an asshole.
Okay, Cappy Original 2 of 5. Client paid me for 5 originals, and the first original was the one on self-deletion, and this one is just a little epiphany I've had for quite some time, but it came to... I didn't even got a compliment from my old man. How about that when your old man's impressed? Like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Did I move heaven and earth? So we were at a coffee store, and was it New Year's Day? Christmas? Something. And we're sitting there just chit-chatting, and I recognized the guy immediately when we walked in, but there was an old man, probably 65 or so, tall, gray hair, and he had an old but high-end Green Bay Packer jacket, which is very common in Wisconsin. That's it. But I noticed it was leather patch. You guys remember those 90s jackets? They're all leather and wild colors. Spent $500 on them. How was that, guys? But it was worn. And it was New Year's Day. I remember that it was New Year's Day because I was like, he's here by himself on New Year's Day. And he had thick glasses, and he's kind of nerdy looking, which maybe, but he was unkept, day off. He just stood out. I'm like, why is he by himself on New Year's Day at a coffee shop that is largely attended by younger people? All right, well, younger people. And he was on his phone talking. He was talking on his phone. And you get closer, you realize he's talking louder. And then we sit down, and he keeps talking, and I then tuned him out. Now, I noticed all that before. We're talking a 3.5 second walk from turning the corner into the room to identify him to the point we're sitting down. So we get up, we leave. My dad says, boy, I guess I didn't have to hear his you didn't have to hear his conversation too. I said, what guy? What conversation? This is the guy behind you. And we're walking. Now, this is also maybe a 5-second walking out the door. I said, and I repeated what I observed. Oh, you mean the old guy by himself with a fancy Green Bay Packers jacket that's worn? And he also lacked the acumen to be quiet in a public place. He's like, yeah. I said, does that bother you that he was talking? He's like, yeah, kind of. I said, imagine being him. My dad's like, I said, he's by himself New Year's Day. He's 65. The best use of his time is to go to someplace on New Year's Day by himself. He's wearing a stupid jacket, so he has nothing else in life except for worshiping a team that he doesn't own or belong to, although that's pretty every Wisconsinite and every Minnesota Vikings fan. And he's so dumb, or has been so shielded, people have been so polite around him. Maybe because he was big. That's a thought I just popped in my mind. Now, maybe he's been so big his entire life, no one dared tell him to shut up. So anyway, he lacks the social graces to know to not talk loudly in a public place. I said, do you know how miserable that man is? And my dad was surprised, like, man, your observation skills are like Sherlock Holmes. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I was gonna Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't think my dad would even know who he is. That was the good thing that made the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes show good. Is he like it was like Psych. The guy in Psych could observe everything real quick. And my dad was amazed because he's known me my entire life. He was like, "You're very relaxed because it's new era." And I explained the philosophy to my dad. I said, "I have a choice. I can let all the stupid people in the world and evil people get to me and ruin what remains of my life, or I can accept the fact they're here. They're going to piss me off, but I can find revenge in them." And almost always, and I do mean this, almost always, if there's a stupid or evil or both person in your life somehow, could be politically, could be a family member, could just be the person driving slow in front of you on the street, there is a guarantee that person is miserable. Now, we've talked about this when you trade places with them, but I'm talking about putting it to practice. Hey, it's 2022, New Year's resolution, and it's actually made me a lot happier, or less angry, I should say. Because what made me really angry is like, you've turned 11. No, Dad, I still want to kill him. I could kill hundreds of people a day, Dad. I totally could. New video game for me. But obviously that's illegal and it's not going to result in best outcomes. So I have to adapt. And it has, I wouldn't say worked wonders, but about as close as working wonders as things would ever get in my life. I want to share that with you guys, and maybe that's something you guys can practice. And that is, anytime somebody pisses you off, and you're right to be pissed off. All right, so like you're arrogant. No. You look, especially my team, just especially people who tune in here. We're not dumb morons. I'm not saying that to kiss the ass of my own. I'm saying it's because it's true. But for example, I'll give you another example. An old high school friend of mine posted on the Facebooks that she drove to a Taco Bell and got absolutely pretty horrific treatment from the drive-through lady. Drive-through lady was cursing and swearing at her, and we don't got it. Can you please stop asking me what's on the menu? So it was very unprofessional and all this. Well, the response of my friend was to write a 3-page or 3-paragraph explanation of what happened, and maybe that made her feel good. But that would be a perfect example of where to apply this philosophy or this mental practice, this mental exercise. Because let's be honest, here's a gal who's working at Taco Bell. All right, already you don't want to trade places with this person. But she is so dumb and so poorly trained that she thinks cursing and swearing at the drive-through customers, that is an option. That's the best course of action at that point in time. And who knows, maybe she had a bad day too. But what I'm saying is, instead of like yelling at this gal, why don't you just let her be? Like, what possibly could you do worse and more painful than what life is going to do to that woman, girl, whatever, for the next, 50, 60 years of her life? The infamous kid at the checkout line when Trump got elected. I can't believe Trump. How you handling Trump getting elected? Not realizing he was in a neighborhood where most people did vote Republican. And I asked him, I said, what are you studying? Oh, I'm in high school. Oh, you're going to go to college? Yeah. I said, for what? Theater. And instead of, stupid dumb kid living at home, don't know jack, instead, I gave him the great Clary push. You really ought to think about getting a doctorate. Because, at those college degrees, everyone's got a bachelor's. You really got to commit to getting a doctorate. You think so? Yeah, I'd take you seriously. I mean, it's going to help you out. Because there's no conviction. What was I supposed to do with the guy in Green Bay? Am I supposed to go and, hey, dumbass, shut up? Who, even though he's 65, could still probably take me on. At least mess me up. I don't know if I could win that one. I don't think I could. I was tall. What are you supposed to do? Walk into the Taco Bell, yell at the lady? And I was debating. I forgot. What did I have up on my, I forgot what the thumbnail was. Oh, the thumbnail is a group of middle-aged white women, of course, some of which dropped trowel, which is why I had to block it out, who were literally, not, maybe I'm wrong, but this is what the caption said, women scream at Trump through their vaginas. You may hate those women. You might find them despicable. And you know what? You're probably right. Probably most of them do not support themselves. So most of them probably mentally ill. They require some kind of government subsidy. They don't have real jobs. They probably need student loan bailouts, even though they're middle age. Do you understand how miserable and mentally tortured your life must be that you think the best idea is to not only drop trowel and yell at a United States president through your genitals, but to take a picture of it? And the other image I was thinking about doing was like, I think we're all universally hated. I think the most detestable hated group of people are people who shut down interstates. I'm thinking about taking a group of people, a picture of that, and then saying, here's an example of people that piss you off, who are both stupid and evil. You may hate, they may be right. Absolutely. You're 100% right. I could get a bulldozer as far as I'm concerned. There's a group of people the world could definitely do without. Not one of them is producing anything of value. But what did they do afterwards? Like, was there an opportunity cost they had? The whatever. Bob calls up from the what's it called? The Antifa affiliate. Hey, you want to go shut down the interstate? And you're an adult and you come to the conclusion that's a good idea. That's the best use of your time instead of voting or raising awareness or having conversations with your neighbors or something, polite. Yep, of course not. And you think, yeah, I'm going to do that. There weren't no kids. These are adults. That certainly happened in the Twin Cities several times. I think a singer in Djibouti died. And the local Djibouti, which is the little tip country, Horn of Africa, I guess there's a community there. They decided it would be a good idea to riot and shut down one of the interstates in the Twin Cities. Go immigrants. Yeah, they're going to produce the economic production to pay for Social Security, make all your social programs whole, leftists. Yep, there you go. But that was actually the minority of instances. Usually it's good old white bread Americans shutting down the highways in Portland or Minneapolis or Seattle or wherever else. That is their best use. And then what did they do after? Oh, I better get back to my nuclear power engineering job. I better get back to my corporate executive job. I better get back to my loving husband and children. No. Their lives are so bad. Their best option, the best use of their time at that particular moment in time is to shut down an interstate. And so you have to say, like, wow, that person is pissing me off. But I couldn't do anything more to ruin their lives than what they're doing to themselves. Life is doing it, but they're doing it to themselves through their lives. And, and we can even go less dramatic examples, something more common. The sanctimonious liberal arts major who comes back his or her freshman year and lectures their parents about how dare they be capitalists and they have privilege and all this. This child that's been alive 18 and a half years. Well, let them. Parents aren't going to do anything. Come on, you're American parents. You don't tell your children to shut up. You just, oh, yeah, you're right. I am a bad person. I have a job. And then they're like, oh, yes, nothing's too good for daddy's little sweetheart. And they decided, yeah, okay, we'll subsidize or co-sign the loans for your master's in theater. And then at 30, the lady is still debt-ridden. Gen Z soy Sam comes home. He's 32. Needs to, I can't find a job. That's all right, son. Come on and live at home. You want to be those guys? Could you punish them more than life is punishing them right now and is going to for the rest of life? Because let's just be honest. None of these people, not only are they stupid, they're also intellectual weaklings. They're cowards. They're definitely afraid of admitting they're wrong. Their egos are so fragile. They will never admit they're wrong. Never. And that's what damns them and condemns them to wasting their life. I'm supremely kind. That's another thing for you to be happy about. Look, that guy lived his life somehow to get to the point as a grandfatherly aged person. He thinks it's good to talk loudly at a coffee shop on his phone. For a good half an hour. You think he's going to wake up anytime soon? I always look, there was the Sierra Nevada Club. The North Star branch or chapter of the Sierra Nevada Club. We're going 20 years ago almost. They were shutting down the building of a bridge that would go over the St. Croix River between Minnesota and Wisconsin. One of the main major arteries heading out of the Twin Cities, Highway 36, sorry. And traffic was getting backed up. People were getting delayed. By the way, didn't know if you knew this, traffic jams cause pollution and global warming. Trying to speak leftist language here. And a bridge would have alleviated all that congestion, so people wouldn't even have to go to the small towns. They could just shoot, exit, and it'd be done. No. These people want to hold that entire northeast quadrant of the metro area hostage, because if they put the bridge there, it would ruin the view. That's basically what it was. It would ruin the view. And I got to look up, and I'll keep in mind, I'm sure the membership and the leadership, or the leadership council or whatever of the North, I'm pretty sure it was the North. Well, hang on, let's take a look. Where have I got to go? North Star chapter. North Star chapter. It's about racial and environmental justice. Mary Blitzer, no, she's not one. Natalie Cook, no. Dominique Digo Cash, no. Scott Elkins, no. I wonder if he's related to Chad. Charles Freenpalm Longden, no. Oh, Joshua Hudek, I remember him. He's the guy who has a master's degree in camping. He does. Bachelor of Science in Geography, not geology, geography. Masters in Outdoor Recreation and from it. So here's a perfect, where are these guys now? Well, 15 years later, he's still there. Founded Minnesota Friends for Utah Wilderness and is a year-round bicycle commuter. His green wedding was eco-friendly. And you think, Josh, I mean, and you can go through them all. It doesn't matter because literally they're commodities. They're fun. Well, commodity has some kind of economic value. They're fungible material. They are NPCs. They're not going to learn their lesson. They're not going to go and produce anything of value. They're going to be poor. They're going to constantly, for example, you guys hate welfare bums, right? You hate people that constantly steal money from you, and that's what they're doing. Can you imagine what it's like not being in control of your income, or not at least influencing it, or forfeiting or giving up and abdicating that influence? It's not mine. I need a government grant. I need a bailout. Like here, we kind of unlock the formula a little bit. At least we have agency and control over our life. Oh, you like to get women? Well, hit the gym. Oh, I know what to do. It takes work, but I got to do that. I'd like to make more money. Well, we know, kind of figure out engineering, accounting, those kind of things, or truck driving, good trades. And there you go. And then you put in the work, and then you have the success. You control your future. Not 100%, but you heavily influence it. These people abdicate all their control. I need money. I need grants. I need welfare. Whether that's an actual, whatever form of government check them out, outright welfare like TAMF. What is that? Something needy families, temporary aid to needy families, temporary, 5 years. Or whether that's some nonprofit to get donations to what, the Minnesota Wilderness of Utah. Can you just go out to Moab and hike? Can you just enjoy that? No. Every day they got to worry about where their money's coming from. Every day. Because they're too afraid of work. What's that like, avoiding work? What's that like, relying on other people to come in and give you your food and clothing and shelter? That you're not in control of that? That's got to suck. That's really got to suck. And what are you going to do? How are you going to make fun of Josh? These people are not capable of shame. They above all else, they don't want to work. You're not, and they know what they're doing. You're not going to they are so immune to it. But in being immune to reality, there's other ways they're going to get the snot kicked out of them. And there's not a thing you have to do. You just have to let them be. And just say, oh, is that your life? Oh, that's nice. Oh, the bridge still went in, huh? Oh, okay. Bridge still went in, still there. So you failed. You didn't do anything. Oh. So there you go. And that's what I found is the best way to get revenge on people. Is now, if you're evil and bad, life works for those, your enemies, because they're working in the real world. You know, for whatever reason, you hate people that are successful or work hard. You know, fine. Well, then you probably do the opposite. But for those of you, generally in my audience, you work hard, you want to be left alone, irrespective of other people's, that's one that I'm always, when I'm in public, I'm very, would you, one more. I mean, you could do every instance. You're at a restaurant. You've worked hard that day. You want to have a sit-down meal. Oh, here comes Gen X and millennial parents not raising their feral children running around and crying. They're crying and they don't take them out. Children do that, Oh, where'd your teeth go? I saw a fist hit your face. Did you? I think you're missing 5 teeth. And I wouldn't do it. I don't know where that fist came from. But those type of people who don't discipline their kids, those kids are yelling and screaming in public. Can you imagine what they're doing at home? Can you imagine these parents, the negotiating parents? They negotiate with 3-year-olds. We don't do that. We don't do that here. Nope, you might get a time. We're not corporal punishment. The capital punishment, the capital offense is timeouts. Not spanking, not the belt, not the switch. Any of you guys get the switch? What's going to happen? Those kids, and I've seen it. I've seen kids that spare the rod, spoil the child. Oh, the nightmare those parents get to raise or deal with. The kid should be out of the house by that time. It may annoy you, but those parents get to deal with a child that is feral because they're too afraid to discipline the child. They're too lazy to maintain the discipline. And ironically, they spend more time negotiating with the child, more energy negotiating with the child. And if your father comes home, oh, you were in trouble. The weight was worse than the dad. That was the weight was you be in your room sweating bullets. No, but you got in line. And now imagine that crying kid 25 years from now who's 30 and still living at home and need mom and dad, and mom and dad don't have the balls to tell him no. You couldn't. Okay, one more. Wait. Give you ultimate revenge because this is delayed late. Grandparent boomers, right? Dr. Spock, hands-off, free-range children, the original non-participatory parents, right? Don't you just get a huge gleam, and it could be a cloudy day, it turns into the sunniest day, when you see baby boomer parents pushing a stroller of their children's bastard spawn because the dad ain't around. They're raising their kids, they're raising their grandkids. Isn't that nice? Like, oh. Throw money at the problem. Outsource the kids to daycare, you say. Don't spank. Your child can't do no wrong. Daddy's little sweetheart. Dad's little prince. Here's money. No consequences. Daddy bail you out. Well, what do you mean, grandchild? Can I take care of it? You couldn't try to come up with something more painful, more revengeful than that. There you go. All right. Look at super chats if there's any here. Holy cow, look at them all. Look at them all. NF, $2. Oh, hell yeah. This is number 2. Yeah, the first one was the talking about self-deletion. Maxi Mike, $2. Just heard about Fred Freeman's solemn news. So sorry to hear. Yeah, it's sad to see Fred's gone. It hasn't even hit. Like I keep thinking he's gonna like pop in and hey, something funny about the Carlson School of Management, but no, he's forever gone. And unfortunately, he's left more work behind than just his super chat. Someday I'll let everyone know. Sam Whiskey, $10. Cappy, your favorite girl, AOC, still has over 17,000 in student loans. What did she do with the money she got from? Dude, I have no idea. Didn't she show up at some party with a dress that was like $16,000? She's been out of school for how long? She's 32, isn't she? I mean, but there you go. Okay, here's another perfect example. Do you think AOC is an experienced enough her life? Do you think that child in an adult brain is able to understand what's going on around her? Do you think she is even cognizant of what's happening? She literally thinks, well, just print off more money and take other people's money. I don't get it. No one's ever told her no. Daddy's little princess. Everyone's singing her praises. I mean, this is like the little kid that doesn't realize everyone's kissing up to him because his parents are rich, or he's the prince, or now the king, child king. What's it like being that dumb? Even though she's got everything, a congressman, even though she's got everything, she still is. I mean, what's the day-to-day? She didn't know what the garbage disposal worked. I mean, daddy's money really slowed her growth. We're talking about Arrested Development. Daddy's money does that. That's what happens. Maxi Mike, $5. No one is surprised to discover that many red pill men, frequently many similar red pill channels, along with overlapping neighboring subjects, finance, muscle, etc. Discover that many are frequent. Oh yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, we all I kind of like it because it reminds me of church, except I don't go to church. But if church was digital, I'm gonna get a little Pastor Inkfist over here. This is a joke no one's gonna get. I'm gonna get a little Pastor Schmo over here, Pastor Schmuck over there. But then you all tune in. We're all kind of the same team, which is why I hate the infighting within the red pill creators. Like, I like Coach Greg Adams and I like Rich Cooper. They've both been nothing but friendly and kind to me. They have a beef, Maxi Mike, $5 again. And there's idea murmurs that Gen Z millennials will save. No. No. The millennials? The millennials. Did you read my book on how to become a millennial? Go get that data. Just read the data, man. They're not coming back. They're like 58-year-old feminists. They've committed down that path. They're doubling down. They're not coming back. They're not going to admit they're wrong. And Gen Z is going down the same path. Save this country via the fourth turning, but that presupposes Gen Y, Z sees something worth saving. No. Maxi Mike, that rotation, the cycle, good man times, bad man times, that requires you don't have the world's reserve currency. Okay. We are on generation 4 of weak men. Boomers are the weak people. But we just kept borrowing money first. Now we're printing it off. Gen Z is, I don't see a delineation. There wasn't like, oh, here's a markation. There's a change in young people's behaviors. It's been the same thing since about, 2000, 2005? Anthony Ciartino, $10. My dad told me that when he dies, my broke master's in journalism feminist sister will get the house. So much for making good decisions. I would totally disown your dad. I would emancipate myself from him. I would not help your dad out anymore. Not because you're not getting your money, but that is BS. That's like, okay, all right, fine. You fine. I never understood the prodigal son story. I hate that story because it's so unfair. I hate that story. People in the church would try, well, you see, no, you see. Let me explain it to you. It's all about forgiveness. Maxi Mike, $5. And I got to tell you, mock me all you want, old boomers. I ain't seeing the connection or compelling evidence of the juice worth the turning. No, there isn't. What would you save in American culture today? What? I mean, we got our movies recorded. That's what I intend to do, is watch a bunch of old black and white movies when I'm older, when I got some time. Old television shows. Heck, I don't watch modern shows now. Just Magnum PI is the show I'm watching right now. The old one, not the new one. What would be worth saving here? What? Name me one thing that's an amazing creation of culture. Like, I'm thinking like Die Hard was about the most epic thing I could point to. Our people are fat and disgusting. Our fashion is horrible. Literature is a joke. And if there is any good literature, it's underground or independently published, or movies. What would you save? I'm coming up with a big zero. What am I going to save? What we're going to save? Woke culture? Are we going to save avocado and toast? what exactly would we defend against invaders here? You know, I mean, I got a house, okay, and all my house is decorated with old classic stuff. That's at least the genre of art is at least 40 years old, at least, if not older. Sam Whiskey, $5. Politicians are not competent at city planning. They like micromanaged civic engineers. Well, you have to understand the law. Maybe Whiskey didn't hear in various things, but just like everything else, there's an optimal level of the number of laws. You can have too few laws because then people are getting away with crime. You can have too many laws where you're choking off production or becoming tyrannical where you won't let people live and make honest mistakes or just things that are not illegal or outright evil, but maybe impolite or socially distasteful. You know, like chewing gum in public. I think it was that not allowed in Singapore or something. But you have to understand the mindset of leftist politicians, largely leftist politicians. They must do something. And we have passed long ago at the state, federal, and local level the optimal level of laws. And when they come in, they have to make a change. That's why you get banning bags, banning straws. We need a choo-choo train, even though buses routes or extra lanes would really help out the poor people more. We need community centers, you know, they don't do anything except temporarily house bums. So they keep going and going and going, and they'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And by logic, by necessitous logic, they will then infringe upon more and more people's freedoms. Try to think of really stupid. I'm sure you all have some stupid laws in your towns or states where, like, you know, like Oregon, why can't I pump my own gas? Because some do good in two shoes thought that the people of Oregon are too stupid to pump gas. And they are. If you go to Portland, they're very stupid people. They shouldn't be able to pump gas. They shouldn't be allowed to vote either. But that's the type of, so that's why politics, they're not competent. It has nothing to do with, they don't care about city planning. They want to have their little name on the plaque of the bridge because they banned tagless dogs, or they insisted we got to 23% solar panels at the parks, whatever stupid thing they do. Here, the switch, the belt, the long, slim willow tree. Yeah. What's the long? I never heard of that. I think we got them all here. Did we get them all? Sam Whiskey again, $5. Kids are an accessory and a tax write-off to most people. Most people don't even think about the tax write-off. For most, I would say for 40% of the people, their government check too. Don't forget that. Forget tax write-off. But for most people, they are an item. And I would say that applies to 90% of American parents. And it doesn't matter your political affiliation. All these conservative double income mom, dad, power couples, and they drop their kids off at daycare. Like, yeah, kids are an accessory. No, so few parents love their kids. So few love them. Again, what exactly would Gen Z save? What would Gen Z save? Mexi Mike, $5 again. I attempted to string along all three thoughts together, but too damn long didn't read. You, me, and a few others see this. Shaving fire? Pistol? Mike, why don't you just, you had more characters with the $5. This dumpster fire is effed. Is that it? Dumpster fire? That's it. There we go. I think we're all caught up. Let me go back. Boom. Done. All right. We'll see you guys later. Toodles. Oh, wait. Hang on. Kona Savage. Just at the last. Keep in mind there's a delay. There's a delay that I got. You guys might see it. I don't get it. There's like a 5-second delay. Conan Savage, $5 Canadian. Have you looked much into Goggins? Preaches hard work, accountability, and mental toughness. Happy. Why? I've heard of him. No, I haven't. If anything I've been consuming that's new has been Schopenhauer, and I don't even read his books. I tune into Weltgeist, and he gives you a Cliff Notes versions of the various aspects of Schopenhauer as well as Nietzsche. But I don't like Nietzsche. A lot of people, why? What did he say? It's nothing that he said. I just don't like him. Something's weird about him. I know that's completely hypocritical. I just don't like the way he looks. I don't like Zarathustra. I don't like the nihilism thing. There's something real off about him that I didn't like. I know that's not fair. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. See you guys later. Toodles.